Okay, let's take a look at 10.2.5 with figure 1, figure 2, figure 3. First question, part A, draw the figure 4 in a space provided. So figure 4, go and pause and draw it yourself. Don't look at the answer, okay? So after you have done, this is the answer. Write down expression in terms of n to represent the number of grey tiles. Because I read this question, grey tiles, I have counted the number of grey tiles for figure 1, figure 2, figure 3, and figure 4. So these are 10 grey tiles where n equals to 2, 12 grey tiles for n equals to 3, and 14 grey tiles for n equals to 4. Hence, find the number of grey tiles in the hundredths term. Okay, so let's look at part B now. So, if you look at the values, this is 8, 10, 12, 14. What's the pattern? Increment of or adding of 2 each time. Okay, so if this is adding of 2, it means, we can apply common difference general term. So first term is 8 plus a positive 2 and times n minus 1, simplify, you get 6 plus 2n. Hence, find the number of grey tiles in the hundredths term. So this time with the formula, with the general term, so easy. No need to go and add so many times until you reach figure 100, right? So just replace n with 100, you get 206. Presentation, follow mine, please. Don't do your own presentation or else I'll ask you to redo your homework. Okay, at this point, you have gone through quite a few examples with me already. I will want you to pause the video and try this question on your own. Really, try this question. Trust me. Try it now. Okay, so now I hope you have tried A, B, and C. We'll continue to review whether your answer is correct or not. Okay, so first question, find the value of P. Then you go and add. I don't know which method you have used, but if I reveal the answer to you, you will faint because it's so easy. Okay, P. Why do I use this? Okay, let's look at the figure first lah. If I shade these two squares at the end, I will reveal to you a pattern. Figure 1 is a 2 by 2 square. Figure 2 is a 3 by 3 square. Figure 3 is a 4 by 4 square. Figure 4 is a 5 by 5 square. Cannot remember? I write for you. Can you see the pattern now? When n is equals to 1, this is a 2 by 2. n equals to 2, 3 by 3, n equals to 3, 4 by 4, n equals to 4, 5 by 5. 5 by 5 is this one that I have not shaded in red. So this square is actually an n plus 1, right? m plus 1 times n plus 1, which is the n plus 1 square. And then after that, you need to add a 2 every time. You need to add a 2 every time. So the general term here is just n plus 1 because it is n plus 1 times n plus 1 square plus a 2. The 2 comes from the 2 red blocks here. So that's why I don't even need to go and purposely go and draw out figure 5. I use this observing method. I find P. I put in 5. I will know that it's 38. But of course, if you cannot come up with this at the first time, it's fine if you draw it out. You still get 1 mark for 38. Okay? Then write down the expression in terms of K for the number of squares in diagram K. So instead of using N, this time we use K. It's the same. So, general term. In terms of K, sorry. So, K and K. So now instead of N, we write K. So, K term is K plus 1, whole thing square plus 2. So solve for we try to simplify it. Part B, write down expression for K. Okay, so we write down expression for K, we stop here. Right. Yeah, correct. Okay, then after that, we continue with part C. Okay, so the diagram, so this is the general formula answer for part B. Then we continue with part C. The diagram has 102 squares. So now we know that this term is 102. What is the number of rows? So let's fill up the equation. 102 is equals to n plus 1 whole thing square plus 2. Don't go and settle this so quickly. Let's try to settle the plus 2 here. Okay, so I minus 2 on both sides. So I'll get 1n plus 1 whole thing square equals to 100. Then, do we remove the plus 1 or the square? Now you ask yourself. Of course, the outermost first. Remove the square by taking square root. So you get 10. Okay, so you take square root. Remember, to remove the square, you take square root. Then remove the plus 1 to get 9. So you notice the number of rows is always, let's look at the number of rows. The number of rows is always addition of 1 to the number of the diagram here. When n equals to 1, number of row is plus 1. So now therefore number of row is 9 plus 1, 10.
Example 10, the diagram below shows a pattern formed using matchsticks. Let Tn, the general term, be the number of matchsticks in figure n. Part A. Draw figure 4 and find the value of the fourth term. So if you count the number of matchsticks in figure 1, you realize that it is made out of 6 matchsticks. Figure 2 is made out of 10 matchsticks. Figure 3 will be made out of 14 matchsticks. And you realize that from figure 1 to 2, there is an increase of 4 matchsticks. And figure 2 to 3, it will be another increase of additional 4 matchsticks. In the diagram, okay, you realize that figure 2 is exactly the same as the diagram of figure 1, just that there's an additional of 4 matchsticks. And figure 3 is exactly the same diagram as figure 2, but there's an additional of 4 matchsticks. So how do you draw diagram for figure 4? You start off with the diagram of figure 3 and you add on an additional of 4 matchsticks. Please label your diagram as figure 4. Now, let us find the value of the fourth term. So you write down as T4 equals to, and as you count the number of matchsticks, it will be equals to 18. Copy and complete the table below. Figure number 1, we have term 1 equals to 6 matchsticks. Okay. You realize that it is also equals to a common difference of 4 multiplied by 0. 4 multiplied by 0 is 0. For figure number 2, term 2 equals to 6 plus 4, the common difference multiplied by 1. Term 3, you have the starting number 6 plus 4 multiplied by the common difference of 2. 4 times 2. Term number 4, you start off with the starting number 6 plus common difference multiplied by 3 times. Term 5, you have starting number 6 plus common difference 4 multiplied by 4 times. So you realize that 6 is actually the starting number and 4 is actually the common difference. So you have now completed the table. Let us move on to part C. It says that find the general term of Tn of the sequence. You realize that the term within the brackets is always one lesser than the figure number n. So in this case, Tn will be equals to the starting number 6 plus common difference 4 bracket n minus 1. And you shouldn't leave it in this form. You should always simplify it. It will be equals to 6 plus 4n minus 4, okay, as you expand, and this will give you 4n plus 2. For part D, find the number of matchsticks in figure 10. You have the formula of 4n plus 2. So for term 10, it will be equals to 4 substitute n by 10 plus 2. That will give you 42. Part E. Which figure has 106 matchsticks? Show your working clearly. So for part E, since you already have the formula of 4n plus 2 and you are trying to find the figure number, we'll just equate 106 equals to 4n plus 2 and we solve for n. So 4n equals to 106 minus 2, 4n equals to 104 and equals to 104 divided by 4, that will actually give you 26. So please conclude your answer and says figure 26 has 106 matchsticks. Example 11. In a multi-story building, the first floor is 5 meters above the ground level. Each subsequent floor is 3 meters above the previous floor as shown. If you look at the diagram, you realize that the first floor is actually 5 meters above ground level, and for each subsequent level, it will be increase of 3 meters. If I write out the sequence, it will be 5, 8, 11, and 14, and as it continues. What you observe is, for each of the floors, there will be an increase of 3 meters. So what does 5 represent? 5 represents the first floor, the height of the first floor. Okay, and it is 5 meters above ground level. So part A, use notations to denote the level of floor and the height of floor above the ground level. A type of notations will be Tn. Give an example to explain your notation. So to define the notation, we have to let term n be the height of the nth floor above ground level. So for example, term number 6 is the height of the 6th floor above ground level. After you have defined the notations, let us move on to part B. Observe the pattern and find how high the 39th floor is above the ground level. To observe the pattern, we have to write out the individual terms one by one. For term number 1, first floor, it is 5 meters. and there's no addition of common difference of 3, so it will be 3 multiplied by 0. For the second floor, term 2, it will be a starting number of 5 meters plus common difference of 3 meters multiplied by 1 time. For term number 3, again, we start off with the starting height of 5 meters plus a common difference of 3 multiplied by 2 times, because it's 2 stories above the first story. So if you realize the pattern, okay, we don't have to list out everything. You can actually find term 39 will be equals to the starting height of 5 meters plus a common difference of 3 multiplied by 38. That is because you realize the value within the brackets is always 1 lesser than the position of the number. And in this case, it will be equals to 119. So after we have found out the 39th term, let us move on to part C. It says, when you are 155 meters above the ground level, which floor are you on? So to find out the floor we are on, we have to find the general term first. And you realize again is the starting number of 5 plus common difference of 3 and multiply by n minus 1. Okay, from the previous example, you will realize that it is always 1 lesser than the position of the number. So now we can expand and simplify. It will be equals to 5 plus 3n minus 3 equals to 3n plus 2. So to find 155 meters above ground level, it will just be 155 equals to 3n plus 2, and we'll solve for n. 3n equals to 155 minus 2, and n will be equals to 153 divided by 3, and that will actually give you 51. So you need to conclude your answer, and you have to conclude that you will be, so you write as I will be on the 51st floor.
Hello everyone, welcome to this problem where we are given that a farmer plants apple trees in this square pattern. And in order to protect the apple trees against the wind, he plants conifer trees all around the orchard. Here, you see a diagram of this situation where the apple tree is the dot and the conifer trees are the cross. So let me just zoom in to work on table number 1, where every time when we have one apple tree, which is denoted by the dot, one apple tree, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 conifer trees. So moving on to n equals to 2, where there are 4 apple trees. Then we just need to, all we have to do is to just count the number of conifer trees. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I'm going to just write it down on the, okay, then we can focus, 16. So now, for my fourth, n equals to 3, You will notice that this is actually 3 times 3, 9. Okay, and when there's 9 trees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I start to see some form of a pattern coming here already. So this one is simply 4 times 4 to get 16. Okay, and for my conifer trees, if I just plus them out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So the next question is for n equals to 5, where the diagram is not given. What could be the number of apple trees? I hope you can see the pattern now. If n equals to 1, 1 square equals to 1, because it is a square. So if notice, if n equals to 2, 2 square equals to 4 apple trees. 3 square, 9 apple tree. 4 square, 16 apple tree. So you can actually see that it is actually 5 square, 25 apple trees. And as we move on to the number of conifer trees, I see a pattern. 8, 16, 24, 32. These are what we call multiples of 8. Yes. So 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2, 16. 8 times 3, 24. 8 times 4, 32. 8 times 5, 40. And we are done with the table. Let's move on to part B. When looking at the table, right, I would then be able to get my B pretty easily, because for the number when n equals to 6, the number of apple trees is simply equals to 6 square, 36. And the number of conifer trees, 8 times 6, 48. And let's stay focused on the table. Okay, that will help us to solve for part C. Then, what do you think is the n term for the number of apple trees? When it is 1, it is 1 square. When it is 2, 2 square, 3, 3 square, 4, 4 square, 5, 5 square, 6, 6 square, n. Brilliant. So therefore, the n term for apple trees is equals to n square. Part D, the last part. When now we have, when n is equals to 1, 8 times 1. When n equals to 2, 8 times 2. When n equals to 3, 8 times 3. 4, 8 times 4. 5, 8 times 5. So 6, 8 times 6. And therefore the n term for conifer trees, 8 times And brilliant! And with that, that will be the end term for the number of conifer trees. We have come to the end of this problem solving of this problem. So if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Hello everyone, welcome to this challenge yourself problem where we have all members of a family of alkane compounds that contain carbon, which is the C atoms, and hydrogen, which is the H atoms. And this table is to help us to look at some of the compounds. Alright? And there is actually some form of number patterns in terms of the number of atoms for carbon as well as hydrogen that we are going to investigate soon. So let's take a look, and I'm going to, at this point, zoom in on the butane and pentane, because part A requires us to find the values of W, X, Y, and Z, okay? And at this time, right, if I look at the pattern for the carbon atoms, if n equals to 1, it will be 1. If n equals to 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, W will be 4, 5, Y will be 5, right? So this is pretty straightforward. I'm going to just take a note down here that this one I could just rewrite it as C. 4. This one will be C. 5. As for the H, let's take a look at the blue color. 4, followed by 6, followed by 8. 4, 6, 8. What do you think is the next number? Yes, we always add 2 to it, yeah? So this one will be 8, 10, 12. Alright? And with that in mind, we could just go back. Let me zoom out again. And we could then write the answer for part A at the side, where we have our W equals to 4, Y is also equals to 5, and our X equals to 10, and our Z is equals to 12. Now, for part B though, write down the molecular formula of an alkane compound which has n number of, very important, carbon atoms, meaning that they would want us to write down the C in terms of n for the number of carbon atoms as well as the hydrogen, okay? And so I'm going to do this separately. I'm going to look at the C, and I saw that when the number of carbon atoms is 1, C is equals to 1. When it is 2, C is 2, so therefore, very straightforward, I will be able to get C n, number of n items. But for H, I do want to write out all the blue numbers out so that we can try and devise a pattern for this. What do you notice? That we always plus 2, plus 2. Do you saw that? Can you see that? That means we always plus 2, and this becomes a number pattern that has a common difference difference. Okay, so this is important. This means that this is a common difference pattern. And once we have ascertained that this is a common difference pattern, we could tap on this formula to help us get the N term for hydrogen atoms here. Where now we have our term 1. The first term is number 4. And we are going to add, we always add 2, yeah? So 2 is actually the common difference. So D will be 2. And I have 2 times n minus 1. And we just need to continue to expand and simplify. So I will have 4 plus 2n minus 2, 2n, 4 minus 2, 4 minus 2 will be equals to positive 2. And therefore, for part B, I will be able to get this answer. So come, let me just shift to keep. So the answer will be C and H. 2n plus 2. Alright? Comes from here. Done. Hence, or otherwise, find the formula when we are given that the carbon atoms is 16. So I'm going to write it here. Now that we know this, it is quite straightforward now. N is equals to 16, meaning the answer will be C16. H, 2 times 16 plus 2. This will be the final answer. With that, we have come to the end of this particular example. So if any point in time in this video you like this video, do give it a thumbs up, and thank you for watching. Have a nice day.